Alrighty, update. So it's been about a month since I did the last video, and I'm probably, I don't know if I'm the same or worse or where I'm at. Um, I'm having some good days, and then I having so not so good days, physically and emotionally. And I suppose like the physical days are the days when uh, I I struggle to get up and down the stairs. I struggle to bring my bike up and down the stairs. I struggle to get to the beach in the morning for the routine. I've missed a few of them and just wasn't able to get down to the beach. And then other days where I've gone to the beach with no sticks. I'm walking with a cane all the time now. So, for instance, if I cycle to the shop, I got to bring a walking stick with me because I just can't get around the shop. Is that worse than it was a month ago? I suppose that is, isn't it? I suppose that is. And that's the thing about this. It's like I'm used to being injured or banged up, but it progressively improves, right? Whereas this, it's progressively getting worse. Your amount of space that you have, the amount of mobility that you have, the simplest things like bringing your knee up. I haven't been wearing socks, and now it's getting cold. I've had to realize I need to wear socks again, and that's a struggle trying to put socks on. It feels like doing a 100k deadlift, trying to get to my feet sometimes, and that's what it feels like. That being said, um, medication wise, I didn't want to take pills all the time, and that's the problem. So like if I want to feel good, I'll take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and 50 milligrams of a Diclac. It's like anti-inflammatory gels that you take. Now I'm starting to switch that up. So I'd do a day, it'd take a day to kick in, then it wouldn't work, then it would work. And then I just wouldn't take any for a while. And then if I didn't take any for a while, I'd be pretty much crippled, which is kind of not what I want to do. So I'm looking at it. If I'm in that way, I can't do the exercises. Um, I'm taking the peptides. How long now? I think 5 weeks on the BPC 157. So I take the BP 157. I take that. I meant to take it twice a day. I've been slacking in the last couple of weeks because you know I'm jabbing myself like with four different peptides. So that's four different shots in the morning, and then I notice that at night time I don't feel like stabbing myself in the stomach. So I've changed things up where I'll do it in the morning and then do it in the late afternoon. I think that's a better. You got to have compromises here, otherwise you ain't gonna fucking do it, isn't it? So if I do it in the late afternoon, I don't feel as like sensitive. Um. So I take the BP 157. Then I'm taking TB 500 twice a week, so it's half a bottle twice a week. So you run through a bottle in a week. Then the growth hormone Surgredagogue, which is ipamorelin, followed by MOD G or F, which is the same. It's a growth hormone. And then this one, which is GHKCU. It's the copper peptide. That's why it's kind of blue. This one is meant to be the shiz. I'm only taking this a couple of weeks now, and this is great for apparently skin, hair, cartilage, collagen. A lot of people were using this in the beauty industry. When you do a shot of this, it feels like you got a tetanus shot. And here's the other thing: what I've started doing is I started going intramuscular instead of under the skin. I find under the skin you get a lump pretty quickly. You also get like itchiness and reaction, whereas you just go straight into the muscle. There's more space for it to get in. I've had a look at some people do intramuscular, some people do sub Q, and I think intramuscular is a lot easier, especially with like a 1 mil needle. Now with these, I'm using a company called Pulse, and I've used a bunch of different peptide companies before. Don't know whether there was anything in them. But I reached out to a couple of companies and asked them. I said, "Here's the project I'm doing. If your stuff is legit, because it can be anything at once. Do you want to like send me some stuff? I'll tell you what it's like and do it for a few months." So got in touch with three. Two got in touch with me, and the guy that has Pulse is a really good guy. He got back to me and he said, "Hey, yeah, I'm interested." The guy from Pulse is a guy called Kalani, and he works with some MMA fighters as well. So I got on touch with him. We did a call for a couple of hours, and I got on well with him. And I told him where I was at. I sent him the X-rays to see where I was at, and he was on board straight away. And he gave me good advice on what to take, when to take it. I was gonna like throw everything at the start, but sometimes you can have a bad reaction to one of them. So find out which was which, and this it's going to take longer than a month or 6 weeks or 2 months. I mean, this is a chronic condition. It's around for a long time, years and years and years and years. So I was kind of like wanting more, but the reality is, if you can stop it and make it go backwards, it's going to take a bit of time. The other thing was I wasn't sleeping, and I tried some CBD oil. And this was the first one I got. I got it in a shop here in Lagos. Nothing out of it. And I have this strange relationship with weed. I used to smoke a lot when I was younger, and then it turned into a bad relationship. And I couldn't touch it now because I'd be paranoid. I had some in Vegas one time, and I nearly had to take 2 Xanax to calm myself down. It was horrendous. Just like went off on a bad trip, freaking out, looking for my man, the A&E. And then we went to Rotterdam, and I went to a weed shop, and I got this CBD, and like I say, super tentative to take it. Started out with a couple of drops, built it up. Never got anything out of it. And there's a lad here now, since I got here, that makes weed oil. And the more I looked into it, the more I realised that you needed to have some THC in it as well as CBD. And he makes a bunch of different ones. And I started on this one with the yellow little thing on it. And he said, try 2 drops. And if you've no paranoia or no anxiety on it, build it up to 4 or 5, 2, 3 times a day. And that's, I started with 1 drop, right? So, and then he has this other stuff which is like 5 times as strong, and now I'm up to like five drops at night. So, and this has made me sleep. This has been brilliant. The other thing which I got is a mind machine. Okay, need to meditate. Not great at meditating, so um, I'll show you this thing. So this is old tech, as Ida would call it. I'd seen these years ago, and what it is I'll give you sound of it. It's like binaural beats, and they have different tones on different ears at the different time. And then the goggles, you can see that have lights. Now these goggles, you can open your eyes or close your eyes, and this I find I can focus on my breathing, and I can focus on breathing. Focus on breathing, and they're great. I'd recommend this for someone that doesn't meditate too well. So the other thing I have coming for me, turn off my machine, is a thing called a SAM machine. Now, Ido Portal put me onto this. This is the only portable ultrasound machine in the world, and he said it looks like a cheap $100 Walkman, like the um, old original Walkmans, and little small power pack. And it comes with electrodes, and you stick them onto you, and you can put it on and walk around for 6 to 8 hours until the battery runs out. So pretty much you've ultrasound all day on the injury. And he has done all sorts of experiments with people that he knows, because he's got a big community of people that get injured and try different things, and they've tried all sorts of stem cells, and people have spent tons of money on that. And he said, out of all the stuff, this thing worked. So I found one in America. They're normally 8 grand. I got a deal on one, and I bought it. So John Sheehan has it on the way to me now. The thing about, you think like 8 grand, okay. So look, if I was gonna do stem cells, which I was gonna do, I got in touch with the guy that invented the PRP system in Germany, and he had a look at my X-ray. And first of all, it was 15,000 to do the spine and the two hips. Had a look at the X-ray, and he said your right hip needs to be replaced. I wouldn't touch it. Then I got in touch with another place in Ireland that do stem cells, and they do it with the blood plasma, but they also do it with the um, bone marrow. So take the bone marrow out, spin it, put it back in again. And I did a consultation with them on the phone. And the guy was an orthopedic surgeon before he started this, and he said I wouldn't touch your right hip; it's too far gone. And I'd do your left one, but I want to give it a cortisone shot first to see what happens. I kind of really wasn't into that. Would have cost me about 5-6 grand. So I thought I'll get this machine, see how that works, and then go from there. So as it stands, I've reached out to a few people on the stem cells. It doesn't seem to work for hips. It seems to work for elbows and knees and shoulders, but not for hips. And a few people that I've listened to on podcasts and people that are affiliated to the guy in Germany say the same thing. And once you go over 60, it has zero chance. Whereas before that, it's got a little bit of a chance, and that's it. So where we stand now is I came across, because I'm like, when I say anti-surgery, I don't want to get full hip replacement. I think I'm too young to get it now. I think, this you're gonna have to get it done another time, or maybe 2 times after that if you live long enough. The risk of death on the second time is kind of threefold. It's kind of, it's serious stuff, because the bone, once you put that implant in, the bone kind of becomes part of it, and then you got to get the fucking thing back out again, and you're 75 years of age. It's kind of it's not something you want to go through again. So I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I'm going to give it 6 months. So come March, I want to be off the stick and more mobile. That's the goal. Before I had bigger goals, I wanted to go jogging, all this shit. I just want to be able to walk without a limp by March. And if I can get that, it's going to be a slow process, but that's what I can do. The other thing is the full hip replacement doesn't suit my lifestyle. I think it's made for, I was talking to Jules about this, it's made for like older people that the hip collapses, they fall over, whereas a lot of people think they fall over and the hip collapses, but generally it's the other way around. And it's just to get them up and about again. And I'd rather, if I'm going through that much trauma, I want to, it's got to be bang for buck. So I was just thinking the other day, there was a guy called Ben Askren that was he was a great MMA fighter, and then he came to the UFC at the tail end of his career. Didn't really get the kudos that he deserved. And I remember he retired because I thought he needed 2 hip replacements. So I looked into it a little bit more, and he needed 1 hip replacement. That's why he retired. He didn't get a hip replacement. He got a partial hip replacement, or a hip resurfacing. It's called the Birmingham hip. I'd never heard of this. So I delved into it a little bit more. And instead of with a full hip replacement where they chop the head of the femur off, so the socket, the head is gone, and the socket's gone, they do a whole prosthetic there and bang a big fucking metal thing in. They keep the head, and they clean it, all those kind of like imperfections. Again, a lot of clicking noises, which is the tendons going over these kind of protruding pieces of bone, and it's just click 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 click. It doesn't hurt, but it's annoying. So they clean all that up, clean the other side up. They put in a bar, 50 mil into the bone, and on top of that is a dome, and it's a cobalt steel, and then there's a cobalt cup, and it goes on top. So it's like a crown for your teeth, and the synovial fluid that normally is in the hip joint gets back in again. So it's like your body's still working with this, and the more this lubricates, the better it works. And it's made for people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that are active, that are athletes, that are going to move. Because if you don't move with this, it doesn't really work that well. But I was looking at some surgeons, and they were talking about like it's the same kind of like recovery rate as a full, and it depends obviously if you go through the back, the posterior, anterior at the side, or anterior at the side, or lateral at the side, anterior at the front. Depends what way you go in on the implant. And for me, I'd be more into something like that if I can't, you know, fix the right hip. And I've looked at other people's hips that their X-rays before they got the hip, and mine looks a lot worse, to be honest. You know, I look at it, it's like, fuck, man, it looks toast compared to theirs. Um, so what I've decided to do is have a backup plan, which is great because it takes a little bit of the pressure off me. And if I could salvage the left hip, because there's still good space there, a little bit worn in, and see if I can get any progression with the right. And if in 6 months' time I'm getting worse or nowhere near, my quality of life is poor still, well then I'll consider the Birmingham hip. And there's a place in Lisbon, which I found a private clinic up there, and there's some guys, they had look like they've got some good CVs, and I'm gonna take a trip up there and have a chat with them, because you have to have like different plans. And sometimes, you know, you run away from stuff, and sometimes you just want to deny it, and you're looking, nah, it'll get better. But if it doesn't, you know, am I prepared to be on a stick for the next 30 years, or limping around, or trying to put my fucking socks on? Where, you know, it could be playing with my kids, or going on the bike ride, or running. You know, even with the surgeons are like, you can run, you can do triathlons, you can do everything with this Birmingham hip. Whereas, like I say, the full hip replacement, you kind of can't. And if that thing dislocates, you're in a world of trouble. And I think with me, it probably dislocate. So they're talking like major surgery, wheelchairs, stuff like that, you know. So that's where I'm at. So it's just like, you know, sometimes you just got to look at things how they are. The peptides, would I recommend them? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like, try everything. The diet, you got to keep a clean diet, um, and then you got to do the exercises. So for me, I drift. You know, like sometimes like I'll do the peptides once a day instead of twice a day. Sometimes I don't take the supplements twice a day. It's maybe once a day. Sometimes I miss a day. I just need to like get it back in, because it's a lot. It's a lot to do. And sometimes you feel like, you notice you're on a diet, lark, and you feel like there should be a treat day, or should be something. But you know, I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. I mean, my diet is, it's clean, you know, and no sugar, no wheat, no dairy, no alcohol, no processed foods. And sometimes you just get these fucking urges to, you know, have a beer and a bag of fucking ice cream and jellies and all that, and you're gonna pay for it. So I'll just push on. Just push on. Keep upbeat. Keep busy. Finish my book. Finish my book. So I'm about 100 pages into my book. And I need to get that done. I need to get that done. It's 7 years on the road with Connor, but it's not about Connor. So it's about my experience seeing the world through wearing a different hat, I suppose, is the best way to put it. I'm a man of many hats. And at one stage, I used to paint people's houses, and I'd be in their house for weeks, and they'd be like, they wouldn't know my name, painter. Excuse me, painter. You know, these like Aylesbury Road houses. And then all of a sudden, I'm in for the Fertitta's private gym, in their offices, you know, in their cars, on private jets for the Royals of Monaco, you know, on yachts. And nothing really changed. It was just who I was with and how many doors were open for me, and my experience of what that was like, and how it was a double-edged blade, how, you know, the people that you met along the way that were, you know, you looked up to, you think like, fuck man, you're as good as those people, you know. And that's what the book is about. It's about me, my experience of the journey, with Mr. McGregor. So that needs to get wrapped up as quick as I can, and I'm probably going to release some excerpts from that. So that's it. So that's the update. I'll push on my machines, and then when I get that Sam's machine, that ultra sound machine, I'll do a thing on that. I'll do a review on the my machine too, if you want. And push on. Godspeed. We are all one. #Rafter.